Hello my dear friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Barbara, and today we're going to be looking at the secondary progression moving out of Scorpio Sun or Rising into Sag Sun or Rising. So if this is your placement, this video is for you. If you're a cross watcher, welcome as well. If you just clicked on this video and you have no idea what secondary progressions are, I have previously made a video where I go in depth explaining as to what secondary progressions mean in your natal chart. So I will link that somewhere in this video, so you guys can check that out first, and then you can come back to your progressed sign. So when we look at the progressed sun or rising, what does this mean? Rising sign a lot of the time is the first house, so it deals with our identity, who we are as a person. The sun can also deal with your ego, okay? So it's how we're changing as a person as time goes on, okay? So different people are going to go through their secondary progressions at different times, and your sun and ascendant aren't going to move at the same time because different planets move differently. So you might go into your progressed ascendant before you go into your progressed sun, and vice versa. So for those of you who have a progressed Sag, Sun, or Rising, you're coming from Scorpio. What does this mean? So when we look at Scorpio, first of all, they're a fixed sign, okay? They tend to hyperfixate on things. Scorpio deals with sex, death, rebirth, joint finances, taxes. It's a merging of energies, okay? That's really what Scorpionic energy deals with. It also deals with the psychic realms, mediumship even. You could be very intuitive. You could have even been a medium, whether you actually tapped into it or not. Maybe you had psychic dreams, psychic insights. These types of things. Could have been interested in the mysteries, uncovering things, the occult, true crime, being a detective, all these types of things. Scorpio also does tend to have a little bit of a cloud energy attached to them, especially if they haven't transmuted the lower version of Scorpio, because Scorpio goes through 3 different versions throughout their life. Eventually, you want to get to that Phoenix rising state. For those of you who are interested, I have several Scorpio videos on this channel where I go into the energy in depth, so you can check those out, what I mean by the Phoenix rising state. But that's the thing, you want to get to the magician, the master manifester. But the thing is, what Scorpio has to do, because they're operating on an emotional level, they really have to integrate a lot of shadows, a lot of traumatic experiences, a lot of pain, grief, emotional suffering, all these sorts of things that the Scorpio has gone through throughout their life. Integrate those energies within them, and then afterwards you become that alchemist, that magician, where you're able to think something and the manifestation happens because there's no longer any resistance left within your body. So with that being said, as I was mentioning way at the beginning, Scorpio is a fixed sign. So because Scorpio does tend to go through all of these experiences throughout their life, when they do create a comfort for themselves, or they figure out something that works, or they get to that place where it's very stable, okay, and they've created this for themselves, because again, it's the Pluto energy. The Pluto energy is death, rebirth, death, rebirth. You go through a lot of experiences, like a lot of transmuting of energy, okay? So that's really what Scorpio is all about. So once they get into some sort of rhythm, some sort of groove that they've actually created for themselves, because that's kind of what ends up happening with the Scorpionic energy, eventually they kind of learn that they have to depend on only themselves, right? Because you're a fixed sign, it can be very challenging to get out of this energy. So what tends to happen with the Scorpionic energy is, and something that a lot of people don't talk about, is Scorpio tends to have a very big ego, okay? Especially when they've created, again, this belief system for themselves, especially after they've gone through these things, they tend to have created some sort of ego where it's like they don't want to come out of that. They don't want to come out of their comfort zone. They don't want to come out of that fixed sign life, right? You move into Sagittarius energy now, where it's like Sagittarius energy is telling you guys, it's okay to come out of your fixed routine. It's time to have fun, right? Because Sagittarius energy is all about optimism, and it's all about expansion, and it's all about expanding the mind. So it's like Scorpio energy does tend to be very, very spiritual, because again, they work with energy behind the scenes, but again, they can get stuck in just like, again, their own little routine, their own home. They don't see anything outside of what they've created for themselves. It doesn't have to be home. It can just be some sort of routine, some sort of safety and security that the Scorpio has created for themselves. Sag energy now comes through, says, hey, let's go on an adventure. Let's go explore. Let's go travel. Let's go meet new people. Let's go expand our knowledge. Let's go talk to different people. And it's like a lot of the time, the Scorpionic energy, it's exactly what they need. They need to come out of this hyperfixation, okay? That's what tends to happen with the Scorpionic energy. If channeled correctly, Scorpio can be very successful in any realm that they choose. You're gonna see a lot of public figures, successful people, these people who are in the public eye, okay, whatever we deem to be successful, a lot of them have Scorpionic energy in their charts, because when Scorpio takes the obsession off of other people and onto something that they love to do, that hyperfixation energy that I keep mentioning in this video, they tend to be very successful at it because they only see that, right? And because they work with energy, they know how to manifest things. And this is what I mean. They become the master manifester. But it's kind of like, you guys have mastered this now. You guys actually know what you're doing. You guys have mastered whatever it is. You've healed, you've cleared, you've transmuted, you've gone through the ups and downs. Sagittarius is saying, let's go on an adventure. Let's go meet new people, pulling you in this direction. Because also what Sagittarius does is through meeting different people, other cultures, other languages, you guys might now have a new interest, you know, coming out of the occult to now go learn new languages or different cultures, or maybe you might want to live abroad somewhere for a year where again, you have these different experiences. Because really what Sagittarius energy does and what Sagittarius teaches us is they go on some sort of adventure. They want to know the philosophies of life. They want to know the deeper meaning, okay? So you're coming out of, again, fixed sign energy where it's like you only see whatever it is that you have fixated on, right? Whether it's a goal, whether it's your routine, whether it's whatever it is. And Sagittarius pulls you out of that and says, okay, there's more to this world. Let's go travel. Let's go explore. Let's go learn. And now Sagittarius, basically when they've gathered all this information, then they go and teach it to people. So after you move out of the Sagittarius into the Capricorn, you guys can check out that video after. That's going to be later on in life. That's all about your public image and your reputation, all these sorts of things. So that's kind of like the progression that tends to happen and tends to take place with people, where it's like you come out of the Scorpio, you go into the Sag, and eventually you're going to go into the Capricorn. So make sure to check out that video to find out what the energies are going to be like later on in life for you. But that's really what it is, okay? So coming out of the depths of the Scorpio, again, maybe you were even cynical, maybe you kind of fell more into the shadow aspects of Scorpio where it's like, you know, I don't trust people anymore, you can't trust anyone, you know, people aren't honest. Like this is the type of energy with Scorpio. Maybe you were betrayed, maybe you were burned, maybe you don't. Again, there's an energy of trust and betrayal or fear of betrayal with the Scorpionic energy, and Sag energy comes and pulls you out of that and is like, no, there's a whole world out there. It's time to meet people again, time to meet new people, time to learn to trust again. And again, it's more so like it's fun, right? It's lighthearted. It doesn't have to be so deep and intense and serious and, you know, all these sorts of things that the Scorpio really is all about, where it's like Scorpio's trying to figure out like, what is this person's issue and that person's issue and what's their trauma and what's going on with this person? Why did that person say it that way? Like that's the Scorpionic energy. Scorpio is highly, highly intelligent in terms of the emotional world, in terms of, again, human behavior and learning people and the way people think and the way people tick, all these sorts of things. But again, you never want to get stuck in that. And the way that life goes, it's a journey. So you're being pulled out of that now into the Sagittarian energy. So you're going to notice a lot of your interests might change. You might have this, you know, sudden urge to go travel, maybe move abroad, like I mentioned, live abroad, maybe pick up a new language, maybe learn again from different people in different walks of life, because that's really what Sagittarius does by going on this whole quest and journey where they're really questioning what is the meaning of life, but not in a Scorpionic type of way, because you've already explored that, right? You've spent a lot of time probably on your own, maybe even in isolation, where you've really, really gotten used to your own energy and maybe even too comfortable in it. Sagittarius is like, let's go. Time to get out of your comfort zone. Let's go on an adventure. Let's go on a trip. Let's go on a ride, like these types of things. So that's really what Sagittarius is all about. It's also all about freedom, right? So again, it could even be like more so like a metaphorical type of freedom, where it's like you want to come out of like this like mental energetic thing that you've created for yourself, because that's what tends to happen with the Scorpionic energy. Scorpio needs to get shaken up sometimes. Like first, what tends to happen is the world or their lives tend to shake them up, okay? And that's why they go through death, rebirth. But then when they get into that fixed sign energy where it's like, okay, now I'm safe, now I'm in like my safe space that I've created for myself, and I don't want to interact anymore, and I don't really trust people anymore, all these sorts of things. Right then, when you master that, Sag is going to come through. You've progressed into Sag. Sag says, we're going on an adventure, pulls you out of that, okay? Because again, the only way to grow in this life is to come out of stagnant energy, which is to come out of our comfort zone. So that's really what Sagittarius is there to teach you guys. And it's also all about, again, direction, right? Because that's really what Sag does when they do pick something that they like to do. They have a good sense of direction. It just might take them a while to do that. And now you've moved into this lighthearted energy where you meet people, you travel, you move around, all these sorts of things, because you've come out of that Scorpionic energy. So I'm going to wrap up this video here. I do hope you guys did enjoy my quick little video on the progression from Scorpio to Sag. If you did, you guys can let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe as well. And I hope you all have a beautiful rest of the day.